Hi, this is Michelle Stimpson, and I hope that you are having a wonderful day wherever you are. I'm coming to you from the comfort of my home in what used to be my daughter's room, as you can see by all the little cheerleading stuff up here, and was for a while. Whose room was this? I don't even remember at this point. Some of you know that my mother had a stroke last year, and so I thank you for your prayers. If you've been reading my newsletters, you and even some of my Facebook posts, you know that it's been a struggle, but the grace of God is so good. She got a chance. She did move out into her own place, and so we're really thankful that she's self-sufficient or God-sufficient enough, I should say, to live on her own. But when she moved out, my daughter didn't want this room anymore. She wanted to move into the room that my mother was in. So she moved over there, but she didn't take all of her stuff out of here. And I have some stuff in here. I got this little computer monitor back here. So this room is like, we don't know whose room this is. So welcome to my world. I'm thankful for the opportunity to have extra space. And, that's why God graces us with abundance so that we can be a blessing to other people when they need it. So I want to talk to you a little bit about this book, Divas of Damascus Road. Bam. Now, this is actually a book that came out in 2006, but due to some recent releases that I've put out, Mama B being one of them, and then the book I Met Him in the Ladies' Room and Uncommon Sense, I think I've got some new readers out there. So hello to all the new people. So glad to meet you. So glad to be a blessing to you, and thank you for being a blessing to me. Anyway, because of all of that, I think people are going back now and picking up some of the older books that I wrote in Divas of Damascus Road this month. And this is March, by the way. This is actually what I call the month of me around my house because my birthday is in March. So see, I bought myself a new hat. Bam, that's my birthday hat. You didn't even know that, did you? Now you know. But Divas of Damascus Road is a book that has more sales than usual after these other books have come out. So I think that people are learning more about the work that God has blessed me to write. And so, again, I thank you for your support. I wanted to have a little bit of a before reading talk for Divas of Damascus Road. So let me just tell you, this book is about 4 women, really more than 4 women, probably 5 women. There's so many women in this book. And that's one of the cool things about this book to me because I don't have any sisters that I grew up with. I just have, I have my sisters that are my friends and my sisters in Christ, of course. But I don't have anyone that I grew up in the house with and I fought with and stole her clothes and she stole my shoes. I didn't have all of that. And some people are telling me it's okay, Michelle. It's okay that you missed that. But at some part of me thinks it would have been neat to have a sister. My mother has 3 sisters, and so I remember watching them and how they interacted. And I just thought that was always pretty neat. And I always begged my mother for a sister, but she was like, you got your brothers, that's good enough. So anyway, this is about a family, it's a dysfunctional, in a way, family of self-sufficient women, basically. And you've got Diane, who has to go back home now because Gloria is going to actually get married. Gloria is her aunt. This is her aunt who raised her. And Gloria's getting married. She's asked Diane to come back to town for the wedding. But going back to that town, to the small town in Dentonville, is going to cause Diane a great bit of angst because she's got to face things that she doesn't want to face and she hasn't faced for a long time. And you'll find out very early one of the reasons why she doesn't want to go back is because there was a huge tragedy in her family. And part of Diane in this book comes from my own story. We had a tragedy in our home when I was a little girl, and someone did pass away. My younger brother passed away in our home. And there's something that comes out of that for you as a child when that happens to you, when the sanctity and the safety of your home is violated because someone actually died in that space. I remember wondering, I don't know, I can't explain how you feel when that something happens to you when you're 8 or 9 years old. But I just know that I didn't feel like it was a safe place for me to be. And he died as a result of illness, but I just remember it was just sad. There was just a sadness about the place for a while following his death. So a little bit of what happened with Diane kind of comes from my own story. And then there's Yolanda, who is kind of the control freak. And a little bit of Yolanda is me because I'm not a control freak in the sense that I have to have everything a certain way in the house, but I do like certain things to happen in the way that I interact with people. And so I kind of had this overbearing, control freakish relationship mode where I was either the leader or I was the follower, but I just didn't know how to be a peer with somebody. And so that's something that the Lord has continued to deliver me on, because I know when I get involved with a project, somehow I'm the leader in like 2 days. I don't know what the deal is with that. But that's the Yolanda in me. Then there is Regina. And Regina, she and I are like this in some ways as well, because she has had this ongoing battle with her weight and with the scale. And what's interesting about it is when she is not in my book, and in anybody else who reads this book, she's not a very large woman by any means, but she doesn't see that. And so it's funny because I look back on my pictures 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and I'm like, what was I worried about? I mean, I wasn't really that big. It's interesting because the way you see yourself is always, well, I shouldn't say always, but in Regina's case, extremely far off from how good you really are. You're fearfully and wonderfully made. And, you know, who you are right now is who you are today, and just love it. So that's exactly where Regina is. There's also Gloria. Gloria is the mother in the family, and she has done her very, very best to raise these girls in a household full of love and joy and order, because women like order. And then there's there's Joyce Ann, who is, I'm trying to think, there's so many women, who is Gloria's sister. And Joyce Ann suffering from some mental illness that kind of got compounded with drug use and the tragedy that took place many, many years ago. Gloria and Joyce Ann are holding on to some secrets that everybody doesn't know. So you got to find out what those are when you read. And finally, there's Aunt Toe. She's the matriarch of the family, and she's just a hoot. I absolutely loved her, and I enjoyed writing her. She's actually kind of the inspiration for Mama B. And for those of you who are waiting on Mama B book 2, it's coming out. Don't worry. I'm really writing it like crazy right now. For real, for real. I'm serious. So anyway, those are the 4 characters, and it all kind of gets started when Gloria's getting married. She wants Diane to come home. Diane comes home. She does decide to come home. She brings this crazy boyfriend with her, and everybody's like, who is he, and why is he even here? And some weird things go down the night of the rehearsal dinner. And Diane's whole life is just going to be shaken and turned upside down for good reason following this wedding. The same thing happens for Yolanda when she meets somebody who is not even looking like the person that she would have imagined herself falling for. And then there's Regina, who's got her problems with her husband and her own self-image that are about to destroy her marriage if she's not watching out for this, and if she doesn't get this under control. Finally, we've got Gloria, again, who needs to get some things off of her chest. Joyce Ann, who's it's going to be tough for Joyce Ann, I'll just tell you that. And then Aunt Toe, who is really at a point where she's ready for all the secrets to come out, for all the girls to be healed, for everyone to come to who they really are in Christ. So that, my friends, is the introduction to Divas of Damascus Road. If you're reading it with a book club, you all could kind of read it as you begin to think about the book. However you want to do it, I just hope that you'll be blessed by Divas of Damascus Road, and that you will share what you know with other people if you enjoy the book online or just by word of mouth, because I know if you're like me, you read a book when some people really sit you down and tell you what it's all about. So come back to me, if you will, and we'll look at an after reading video. Hope to see you then.